Ukraine rapidly expands UGV use on battlefield. Ukraine's defense forces carried out more than 9,000 missions with ground robotic systems in March alone. New data from the Delta Battlefield Management Platform show. The latest figure marks a sharp rise in the use of these systems. In November 2025, they were used in more than 2,900 missions. By January 2026, that number had climbed past 7,500. March set a new high, with more than 9,000 combat and logistical tasks completed. Over the first 3 months of this year, the total reached about 24,500 missions. The numbers offer one of the clearest indications yet of how Ukraine is shifting dangerous frontline work away from soldiers whenever possible. The Defense Ministry has made it a priority to move as much frontline logistics as possible onto unmanned ground systems, particularly in the most difficult and exposed parts of the battlefield. These platforms are now being used for a wide range of tasks at the front. They deliver ammunition, move supplies to forward positions, and evacuate wounded troops from areas that are often under drone surveillance and artillery fire. Work that once required soldiers to move directly through dangerous terrain is increasingly being handled by unmanned vehicles. That expansion has been rapid. By March, 167 units were using ground robotic systems for operational missions, up from 67 units in November 2025. The ministry also identified the 5 units that scored highest last month for completed robotic missions. They included the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade, the 1st Separate Medical Battalion, the Unmanned Systems Company of the 92nd Separate Assault Brigade, the 95th Separate Air Assault Militia Brigade, and the 3rd Operational Brigade named after Colonel Petro Balbakin, known as Spartan. The Delta Combat System has recently broadened the way it tracks these operations. Units can now plan logistics and casualty evacuation missions directly within the platform. Once a mission is completed, the result is verified, and the system automatically generates a report and assigns points based on mission performance. That scoring system is tied directly to Ukraine's broader defense technology ecosystem. Through the Brave One Market platform, units can use accumulated points to obtain additional equipment, including drones, ground robotic systems, electronic warfare tools, and spare parts. The mechanism is part of the wider Army of Drones bonus initiative, which rewards units for confirmed battlefield actions. While the program initially focused on drone strikes and reconnaissance, it now also includes missions carried out by ground robotic systems, as well as sniper operations, mobile fire groups, and army aviation. The more successful missions a unit completes, the more points it receives. Those points can then be exchanged for new systems through the military technology marketplace, creating a direct link between battlefield performance and access to additional equipment. These ground robotic systems are unmanned vehicles that operate on land without carrying personnel. Depending on the platform, they can transport ammunition, resupply frontline positions, evacuate wounded troops, or carry surveillance and support payloads. Their growing role reflects the realities of today's battlefield. With both sides relying heavily on aerial drones for reconnaissance and strike missions, any movement near the front can be detected quickly. Sending unmanned vehicles instead of personnel reduces exposure and helps keep combat units supplied under fire. While aerial drones remain the most visible symbol of modern warfare in Ukraine, the steady rise in land-based robotic missions shows that automation is expanding well beyond the air domain. Logistics and casualty evacuation, once among the most dangerous jobs at the front, are increasingly being handed over to machines.